in an unprecedented season.
You got to learn how to win out here.
Canadian golf's top talents persevere. 8 tournaments to pave their path to the pinnacle of golf.
This is why we're here, where it's one step and then hopefully we take it further.
And follow in the footsteps of those who have been in their shoes.
The best guys on the Mackenzie Tour could probably play out here.
I'm looking forward to achieving those goals.
This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. At the halfway point of the season, the order of merit was anyone's for the taking, with an exemption into the 2022 RBC Canadian Open up for grabs.
Just a good, solid chunk of points there. Hopefully put me in a good position to get in that top 5.
The top player at the end of the season will earn full status on the 2022 Mackenzie Tour. Numbers 2 through 5 on the points list will receive conditional status, while 6 through 10 will earn a sponsor exemption into a 2022 Mackenzie Tour event.
I plan to finish as high on the points list as I can and set myself up in the best way possible for next season as well.
The first 4 events featured a diverse crop of winners.
Luckily, I was able to come away with it.
It's at the top for me to win a professional event.
And was a sign of what was to come in the second half of the season.
It puts me in a good spot for the season end points list.
I got 4 events left, so hopefully see what I can do.
Midway through the circuit, rising amateur Noah Steele was the man to beat after first and second place finishes in only 2 starts. Leonard, Blair, and Davison followed close behind with 4 more chances to take the top spot from Steele. The second half of the Mackenzie Tour season kicked off with the Elk Ridge Open, a 54-hole event in Lake Waskesiu, Saskatchewan. First round co-leader Raul Menard separated from the field on day 2 as he closed his round with 4 birdies on the final 6 holes.
I've been putting really well the last couple of days. I'm just trying to hit good pace. If they go in, they go in.
Menard's 5 under 65 tied the low round of the day and gave him a 5-shot lead heading into the final round. An eye-catching feat in his first start of the season.
I know that if I play well, I'll be hard to beat.
Another notable debut was the Elk Ridge Resort. After signing an 8-year deal with the Mackenzie Tour, the world-class facility hoped to shine in the spotlight of its maiden event.
We're hosting this event to help us also show our golf and surrounding region here to our country.
A lot of people haven't heard of Elk Ridge, so I'm hoping that this will make us known.
The people out here are friendly, welcoming, and everybody will do anything for you.
It's very picturesque.
This is a lot different being out on a resort. Nice to get out on the water for a change of pace.
Elk Ridge is a world-class golf resort. It's very family activity oriented.
Whether you're with family or friends, there is no love lost at Little Al's Mini Golf, which provided Mackenzie Tour pros an intense on-course competition off the course.
Hey there, I'm Ziggy Nathu from Richmond, British Columbia.
I'm Trevor Yu from Vancouver, BC.
I'm Travis Fredberg from Selkirk, Manitoba.
And I'm Will Barnett from Melbourne, Australia. And this is
the Mini Putt Challenge.
Might be coming back. Yes.
Let's go! Full part!
Thank you.
That saying is you win some, you lose some, but we don't seem to be losing much.
Maybe.
Yeah. No!
Oh!
That was such a bad putt.
We got off to a slow start, but I heard in, I think a children's book that the turtle always wins.
Good shot. Yes!
Is that good?
Yeah.
Is that any good?
Is that good?
Is that any good? Look at that.
No way.
No! Oh, no way! No! What? I thought I made it.
Whether it's, you know, the Elk Ridge Open this week or You know, a game of mini putt, we want to win, no matter what.
What a clutch putt when they're a clutch moment. He's born with the clutch gene. There's no way.
Wow, wow.
It's kind of really sad I've had to try and putt through a log many times.
They topped the top early, and we did the walking at the end.
The pressure from the mini putt challenge carried into the final round of the Elk Ridge Open, where Raul Menard struggled with 3 bogeys in his first 5 holes. While Toronto's Sebastian Zermack closed in on the lead with a birdie on number 7 to get 1 shot back.
I was like a shark, you know, I sensed a little blood in the water and I was trying to put pressure on him. I'm not gonna lie, the mind was racing a little bit at that point, but I just told myself to be patient and just keep doing my routine.
Menard matched Zermack's birdie on number 7 to take back a 2-shot lead. And then a birdie on the par 5 10th extended it to 3.
He played great. To come back from that shaky start's really tough to do on any level, so really happy for him.
And capped off the victory in style with a birdie on the final hole to win the Elk Ridge Open by 4 shots.
I worked hard this week and been working hard for months. It's nice to see something paying off, and I couldn't ask for a better week.
The 29-year-old earned 500 points in the order of merit, good enough for the 6th spot in the standings, and just 5 points behind Blair Bursey for the crucial 5th spot, which will earn conditional status in 2022.
I want to make it to the top level, and that's the goal. This is why we're here, where it's one step, and then hopefully we take it further.
Menard proved that he not only has the game to compete with the world's best, but he's also a player to keep an eye on as the Mackenzie Tour continued its season in Alberta. When Graham DeLette won the ATB Financial Classic in 2009, it springboarded his career. He would finish the season at the top of the order of merit and start his PGA Tour career the following year.
That's where I kind of learned to play. That's where I got my first wins.
In the 2010 edition of the tournament, Adam Hadwin finished 2nd. The Mackenzie Tour paved his way to the winner's circle on both the Corn Ferry and PGA Tours.
A lot of us have come from the Mackenzie Tour. Being on the PGA Tour is the ultimate goal, I think, of all those guys playing. The best guys on the Mackenzie Tour could probably play out here. They're really just kind of waiting for the break.
Along their similar paths came added incentives, as both DeLette and Hadwin have had the honor of representing their country in the President's Cup.
Oh, Canada,
In 2013, DeLette co-led the international team in points.
The former hockey player from Canada delivers a huge blow.
And Hadwin has been a member of each of the last 2 competitions with the hope of making it a 3rd in 2022.
It is a bit of a dream come true, honestly, and to represent Canada on this international stage is always an honor and a privilege.
Those guys are all idols for us. Makes you feel like, why not me?
Representing Canada in a President's Cup would be really the ultimate honor.
Both those guys started out on the Mackenzie Tour.
It gives me a lot of inspiration that Canadians can make it to the big stage.
And I remember watching Mike Weir beat Tiger Woods down the stretch, and I feel like any Canadian golfer dreamed of being Mike Weir at that time.
A huge day for Mike Weir and Canada.
To represent all the 38 million Canadians in this country would be super special.
There is something a little extra when that Canada flag is, on your clothes.
It's definitely something I've always dreamt about.
Players focused their early President's Cup aspirations in Calgary for one of the staples on the Mackenzie Tour schedule, the ATB Financial Classic. In his first start of the season, local native Jared Dutois brimmed with confidence as he trailed round 1 leader Will Barnett by 1 shot.
I definitely haven't had a professional win in Canada, so it'd be the first, and then being born in Calgary as well.
On day 2, fellow Calgarian Wes Heffernan made 9 birdies through a 12-hole stretch and entered the weekend at 11 under.
Definitely means a lot in Calgary, and I've played well here a lot, so I'm kind of comfortable playing this tournament.
Yet Calgary pride transcended the competition as Katie Rutherford marked her place in history as the third woman to tee it up in a Mackenzie Tour event.
I had quite a big gallery going down the back nine today. It means so much. I hope I'm kind of breaking down some barriers and everything this week, being the only female in the event.
Despite an even par second round at her home course, Rutherford would not see the weekend. Yet the result of her scorecard was second to her immeasurable resilience. Calgarians continued to reign supreme through the weekend as Wes Heffernan held a share of the 54-hole lead, with Jared Dutois and others lingering not far behind. Dutois closed the gap with 2 birdies through 8 holes, while Heffernan struggled early but retied the lead with an eagle on number 7.
The good thing about when you are behind is you play aggressive. You usually play much better trying to catch up to somebody.
And despite having regained momentum, Heffernan was unable to capitalize in his hometown after 3 bogeys in 4 holes through the turn.
I honestly had no idea that I was, that close to up there. And I just waited it out, and then the game started coming to me.
Jared Dutois took advantage of the opening with back-to-back birdies on holes 12 and 13 to get to 10 under. And cruised to the 18th hole with a 1-shot lead and all but sealed the win with a big birdie to finish.
Taking care of my end and getting it done meant a lot and feels really good. Being in Calgary, having people kind of cheer me on this week, it meant a lot for sure.
With a win in his first start of the season, 500 points placed Dutois 7th in the season-long standings. He trailed Noah Steele by 370 points after the leader of the Order of Merit finished the ATB Financial Classic in a tie for 10th.
It's hard to win anywhere. When you're beating 100-plus guys, at the end of the week, you got to feel pretty good about your game. And for me, doing that this week, I can only be a little more confident heading into, future weeks.
Confidence and strong finishes are crucial for Dutois and others vying for the top spot in the Order of Merit, as the Mackenzie Tour made its way to British Columbia for the pressured-packed closing events. The Mackenzie Tour arrived in the fruitful lands of the Okanagan in British Columbia, its 6th and final province of the season for its culminating 2 events, as the season-long race heated up.
A win would pretty much secure my card for next year. That was my goal at the beginning of the season.
With much more than a trophy at stake, the BC Golf Swing kicked off with the Golf BC Championship, as 2 of the season's winners were part of a 5-way tie for the 36-hole lead. Brendan Leonard and British Columbia native Callum Davison were not only looking for their 2nd title, but also to assure their spot in the Order of Merit.
The top 5 kind of secures your card, so you just got to win again.
Fellow British Columbian Troy Bulmer stumbled in his first round and shot 6 over. But his struggles on the golf course paled in comparison to the tribulations he's overcome in his life.
I was actually driving down to school down in North Carolina. It started to get pretty dark out, and we were driving, and all of a sudden there was just a cloud of brown dust that went across the road. And the back end of the vehicle started to lift and kind of tilt towards the front right tail light. And then after that, it's pulled up and then carried about 3/4 of a mile over a small lake and then thrown out into a bluff of trees.
The effects of the Bulmer's encounter with a tornado took the life of his father, Rod, and left Troy with many challenges to overcome.
I fractured my neck. I broke 10 ribs, punctured both my lungs, cracked my jaw in a few places, ruptured the entirety of my right ear canal from the wind pressure. For a while there, it was not good. To say that, I just kind of got along and was happy to be okay, that would be lying. When something like that happens, especially because I was the one driving, I definitely had some survivor's guilt or remorse for a long stretch of time. To just say he was my dad wouldn't be true. We played golf together, hung out together. In a lot of ways, he was my best friend.
After doubts that he would ever play golf again, Bulmer set out to honor his father, a former Saskatchewan amateur champion, and returned to golf less than a year after the tragic accident, following an experimental shoulder surgery. At the same event, rich with the memory of his father.
Just teeing it up, that was quite literally my goal for the year. And the fact that I got to play and ended up winning, what that meant to me was I was okay. We're one of 2 father-son duos to ever win the Saskatchewan Amateur. To my mom, who was out there spectating and following, that meant everything to her. If I couldn't play golf anymore, I'd be a completely different person, but the fact that I can still play golf and do it every day, it's as good as it gets. So as far as keeping perspective, as long as I'm out on green grass every day and above green grass, I'm good.
Get in there, yes!
Bulmer channeled that perseverance in round 2, but it wasn't enough to play his way into the weekend. Meanwhile, Callum Davison took a one-shot lead over Brendan Leonard through 54 holes with more than the tournament at stake.
It decides #1 spot.
He knows how to win, I know how to do it, so it's going to be a good battle.
In the final round, Davison got off to a steady start and was 1 under through 10 holes. While British Columbia's Yi Tsao birdied the 11th hole in the group ahead to tie the lead at 12 under.
And that kind of kicked me in the butt to, like, I can't glide in, I gotta get after it.
And Davison did, as he birdied the next hole to regain a one-shot lead. And while Brendan Leonard drained a lengthy putt for eagle on number 12 to get within 1 shot back, Davison followed with another birdie and stretched his lead to 2 at 14 under. Leonard played the next 2 holes 3 over and took himself out of the tournament, while Tsao made a costly bogey on 15 and could not rebound to put the pressure back on Davison. Davison cruised to a 2-shot victory and continued his strong play in Canada after his subpar summer on other PGA Tour circuits.
It's been a struggle this season. Obviously, the last 4 or 5 events have been a lot better, so it's so nice that my hard work's paying off a little bit.
Davison became the first player to win twice on the Mackenzie Tour this season and took over the top spot in the order of merit. He carried a substantial lead into the final event of the year at a place where he feels right at home.
If I was going to win one event on this tour, it would be Uplands. Used to play there every week, basically, when I was home.
Davison secured conditional status for 2022, but the top spot and an exemption in the 2022 RBC Canadian Open was still up for grabs, with one huge event remaining. When the Reliance Properties DC Bank Open was last played in 2019, Paul Barjon took home the title.
Playing on the Mackenzie Tour prepares you for Korn Ferry and potentially PGA Tour.
2 years later, he is now a full-fledged member on the PGA Tour.
It's one of the things I was dreaming of when I was a kid.
Doc Redman was the runner-up to Barjon, but took the fast track to the PGA Tour.
He was playing Mackenzie Tour and got a spot in Detroit a couple years ago, finished top 3, and next thing you know, he's a PGA Tour member.
History shows that a strong finish in the final event of the season is a step in the right direction for Mackenzie Tour pros. The 8th and final event of the 2021 Mackenzie Tour season was at the site of one of the tour's most significant proving grounds, Uplands Golf Club, the host of the Reliance Properties DC Bank Open. As players vied for the title, the race to the top of the order of merit was at stake. Callum Davison entered the week with the lead, with only 3 others within striking distance of his top spot.
That'd be huge. I worked harder than any other winter I did than last winter. Just shows that, you know, I'll just never quit and just keep at it, and things can happen.
Blair Bursey has been a mainstay in the order of merit after 3 top 5 finishes in the first 3 events of the season. He began the week 6th in the season-long standings and took the 36-hole lead at 8 under.
You want to secure status on the tour for next year. I've got a job to do, and if I do that job well, then all the other stuff will work out for me.
On day 3, Andrew Harrison's 6 under 64 vaulted him into a tie for 2nd place, 2 shots behind Bursey. He started the week 10th in the order of merit and needed a top 3 finish and some help to secure conditional status for 2022. In the final round, Callum Davison tied the low number of the day and finished ahead of all 3 players who could have caught him in the order of merit.
I was almost going to miss the cut. I was at 3 over in the trees, and I had to hit this high cut and rolled in a 50-footer. You just got to grind it out.
With the top spot secured, Bursey and Harrison were still fighting for their place in the top 5 in the order of merit, with both needing a win to do so. After an up and down day for both players, they arrived at the 18th hole with Bursey holding a 1-shot lead. He was first to putt with a chance to win the tournament, but came up short. Harrison had his chance to force a playoff, but left it on the doorstep, which ended his order of merit aspirations.
Definitely kind of heartbreaking. I knew I needed to win to get any kind of status for next season, so to come that close kind of hurts right now.
Feels really, really nice and satisfying to pull this one out. I knew I had to play well this week, so to get it done is pretty cool.
After a season of close calls, Blair Bursey finally broke through for a win and moved from 6th to 2nd in the order of merit, securing conditional status for the 2022 Mackenzie Tour season, as did Noah Steele, Brendan Leonard, and Michael Blair.
This was a huge step forward in my development because when you're playing in consecutive weeks, you find out a lot about yourself and your game. So not only for myself, but for a lot of guys, it'll really help with preparation as we go forward with our careers.
I'm looking forward to what's to come. I'm going to turn pro and play on the Mackenzie Tour, which is awesome.
That was the goal coming into this year, was to try to, make my way into the top 5. That's comforting to know that I have a place to play already.
Callum Davison took home the #1 spot and secured full status on the Mackenzie Tour next season, and additionally, a spot in the 2022 RBC Canadian Open.
Hearing I got a PGA Tour start, that was probably my career highlight. I can't wait for it. It'll make me work harder in this offseason. I'll definitely, I'm super excited for the moment.
The top 5 in the 2021 Order of Merit are next in line in the influx of Canadian talent on the PGA Tour.
So many great Canadian players, all these guys coming behind me that are so good, and it's really exciting times for Canadian golf.
He is one tough customer, Mackenzie Hughes.
It's really grown in the past 5 years. Each week you seem to turn the corner and see a Canadian flag on the leaderboard.
Corey Connors, he's a winner on the PGA Tour.
There are currently 10 players on the PGA Tour that fly the Canadian flag, totaling 5 victories and 34 FedEx Cup appearances.
Mr. 59 is now a PGA Tour winner.
We had a ton of great Canadian players. There's a little bit of a pressure there, but it would be great if a bunch of us can take a bunch of majors home to Canada soon.
With the 2021 Mackenzie Tour season in the books, the country's top talents have proved that the future of Canadian golf is in good hands. And when they return next season, the stakes will be raised.
Our expectation for 2022 is that we get back to the normal Mackenzie Tour offering status on the Corn Ferry Tour and having some of the best top up-and-coming players in the world competing here in Canada.
I proved to myself that my game is at a level where I can compete and get on the road that I want to get onto the PGA Tour.
Canada's next wave will now confidently continue their journey to golf's biggest stage.